welcome you watching a special episode of This is Exclusive. Over the next 20 minutes, we'll take you through some of those serious concerns that are now coming up over that COVID spike in China. Not just that, there have also been cases that have been reported in the United States of America, Japan, and what's the impact going to be in India? There is a growing chorus that flights coming in all the way from China to India should be banned. Will that be a decision that the government will be taking at this point in time or not? And whether are we to be afraid of what's really happening? All of this and much more on this edition of This is Exclusive. But up first, these are the headlines we are tracking for you at this hour. India on COVID alert mode, set to issue fresh guidelines for travellers from China. Begins random testing and sampling at international airports. Amid surge in COVID cases in multiple countries, government holds review meet, ramps up preparations to tackle COVID. Exclusive scoop on whereabouts of India's most dreaded gangster, Harry-Chatta. Sources claim that he could likely be in Pakistan. Gangster turned terrorist escapes to Pakistan with help of fake passports. We get you exclusive details of this racket that has prevailed. Pakistan yet again resorts to its nefarious plot. Drone and drugs recovered from border by the BSF troops.
पाकिस्तान में भारत जोड़ो यात्रा में गए हुए कई लोगों को कोविड पॉजिटिव पाया गया है.
Union Health Minister hits back at Congress, outraging over COVID norms. Warning, says my duty as Health Minister to warn. Starting this edition with some breaking news now coming in. As China and US record surge in the COVID cases, India has now ramped up the preparedness. Top health ministry sources suggest that random sampling and testing of foreign travellers has begun at the Delhi airport. Government is closely watching the situation in China. Sources also say that government is set to issue fresh guidelines for travellers from China. Why exactly all of this is happening, we'll get you more details right now. What's the situation in India? Let's take you through some of the details that we have at this point in time, with the focus essentially being on the BF.7 variant. India's focus essentially being on the BF.7 variant, primarily because of 3 cases of BF.7 variant has already been found. In fact, doctors suspect that this variant, which is raging across China, could become a cause of concern in India. In fact, more details now coming in that the first case of the BF.7 in India was detected in October by the Gujarat Biotechnology Research Centre. So far, 2 cases have been reported from Gujarat, while 1 case has been reported from Orissa. Now, in fact, there has also been a COVID review meeting that was chaired by Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia. That was on Wednesday, saying that there's no overall increase in COVID caseload as of now. There is a need for continued surveillance to keep a track of existing and emerging variants. Now, what's really happening in China and what is it that we need to pick up? In fact, Chinese cities are currently hit by the highly transmissible Omicron strain. Mostly that's the BF.7, which is the main variant that's spreading in Beijing and is contributing to a wider surge of COVID infections in that country. Now, as we understand, this variant is highly transmissible, and we're given to understand that the reason why there's been a massive caseload in China is only because of this current variant. A little bit more details that we're going to pick up right now, also on the B7 variant. But before we proceed, we do have right now a reaction coming in from the government. Let's listen.
Ministerial level review will be undertaken. No panic, abundant precaution. अगर हम उस तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं तो abundant precaution के क्या मुद्दे हैं? पहली बात है कि खांसी जुकाम इस मौसम में होता है. हम विंटर में हैं, हम ठंड के मौसम में हैं. तो पहली अपील ये है कि खांसी जुकाम हो रहा है तो आज की सिचुएशन को देखते हुए अपील करना चाहेंगे कि उसमें आप टेस्टिंग करवा लीजिए। हो सकता है और 90% चांस है कि शायद ये नॉन कोविड होगा, लेकिन अगर हमने अर्ली डिटेक्शन करनी है तो तभी करेंगे, कोई टेस्ट करवाएंगे। तो एक अपील भी है और सिस्टम भी इसको प्रोत्साहित करेगा कि टेस्टिंग हो, टेस्टिंग बढ़ेगी तो हमारा फुटप्रिंट ज़्यादा होता है, प्रॉब्लम जो है वो डिटेक्ट होगी, उस वायरस का आइसोलेशन होगा, उस वायरस का जीनोम होगा, तो हमें पूरी ताकत मिलेगी और हमें समझ रहे कि हम किस तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं। दूसरी अबंडेंट प्रिकॉशन क्या है कि हमें प्रिकॉशन डोज हमारी ड्यू है। लगभग देश में 18 के ऊपर प्रिकॉशन डोज सबको लगनी चाहिए, लेकिन लगी है सिर्फ 27-28% को। देश में 18 के ऊपर प्रिकॉशन डोज सबको लगनी चाहिए, लेकिन लगी है सिर्फ 27-28%। तो हम अपील करेंगे कि प्रिकॉशन डोज जिसको नहीं लगी है वो ले लीजिए। ये भारत की पेंडेमिक रिस्पांस का एक पिलर है, पॉलिसी है, वैक्सीन अवेलेबल हैं, तो उसको तरफ जाइए। और पर्टिकुलरली जो हमारे सिटीजन्स, सीनियर सिटीजन्स हैं, वो कोई छूट गए हैं प्रिकॉशन डोज से, तो हमेशा की तरह जैसे हम पहले भी अपील करते थे कि उनका हमें ज़्यादा ख्याल करना है। सीनियर सिटीजन्स क्योंकि वल्नरेबल हैं और बीमारी वाले व्यक्ति वल्नरेबल ज़्यादा होते हैं, तो ये खासकर उनके लिए अपील है कि अगर आपको प्रिकॉशन डोज नहीं लगी तो लीजिए, लेकिन सभी को प्रिकॉशन डोज जो है वो मैंडेटेड है, गाइडेड है और उसको आप लीजिए। अगला पॉइंट ये आता है कि हमें इसके अलावा भी जनरल प्रिकॉशंस लेनी।
In fact, we're getting in some more breaking news and also bring in our senior executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, is joining us from the Delhi newsroom. In fact, the latest now coming in from Maharashtra, where we're given to understand that few samples from Maharashtra, in fact, has been sent for genome sequencing. In fact, more details also coming up in a short while from now as to what's going to happen in the airport right now, because there has been a growing demand that all the flights that are basically coming in from China should be placed under a ban. But that's the latest we're getting in from Maharashtra in terms of the genome sequencing that's going to take place from the samples that have been sent. Let me go across to Abhishek for more details on this. Abhishek, what's becoming abundantly clear is that the government is treading on a cautious path. The mistake that we made when the first wave actually started here in India, a lot of criticism that the government had to face because of acting perhaps a little later. This time, it does appear, Abhishek, that they are being extremely cautious. So what is it that you're picking up from the government at this point in time? What is the plan of action like?
Even this time, Shravan, it seems that the government is scrambling after some cases have already appeared, including, 3 which are those Chinese variant strains, BF.7, latest being one in Vadodara in Gujarat, and the woman under the spotlight seems to have traveled from the United States. So it seems the government, though not really caught napping, is a sort of, maybe a week or two delayed in terms of the kind of response that was needed. We have seen how a quick response can really make a difference in terms of the speed and scale of the spread of the virus. It's good that it is happening now, and the scramble is very visible in terms of the meetings that are taking place, the instructions that are going, the guidelines that are being put in place or brought back. That's significant. And it's important that the citizenry and the population, they also understand that they have to do their bit by way of vaccination doses, as BK Paul was mentioning, in case the precaution doses are not taken, and rest of the population which has really not graduated to vaccination, get that done. And that's very important. Get the masks back in crowded places and get the protocols running, including, if need be, in events like the Bharat Jodo Yatra. They should not be becoming super spreaders. Remember what the health minister said. He said that the Himachal Pradesh chief minister has got COVID after he appeared or made an appearance at Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra. So it's significant. I think the scramble is real, and the threat also is super real. What's happening in China is really stupid. The Chinese sort of presented just in the month of October, Shravan, remember during the National Congress, the Chinese Communist Party leadership held by Xi Jinping presented their zero COVID policy as the panacea, as the best model in the world. And now what is happening in China is absolutely shameful. The communist state has really left its citizens to fend for themselves and effectively taken a call that if people want to die, they can die, but then the economy should not be affected. they are not vaccinated fully, they are not immune, and there is a likelihood that China again, like in 2020, might become a super spreader around the world. And that's why precaution is the best vaccine, precaution is the best medicine, as we have learned the hard way over the last first, second and third wave. And hopefully everyone would be listening to the government this time and following the protocols and procedures that are put in place, Shawan.
Well, in fact, Abhishek, I just also want to get a sense from you. Is this a panic reaction? Because at the end of the day, we're talking about, as you rightly pointed out, some of these cases were reported about a few days ago. But what is the sense that you're getting? Why this sudden panic reaction right now from the government at this point in time? Or would you say that this was already happening? It's just that, it is best to be a little bit more cautious, and that's exactly the route that has been taken by the government at this point in time. And then I'll go across to Alisha also, because I'm told that some developments also taking place in the state of Maharashtra, where genome sequencing samples have been sent for genome sequencing. But on the note of whether at all this is a panic reaction, because a lot of our viewers also, Abhishek, who would be tuning in right now, we need to understand one thing, that perhaps not to really scare them, that what are the facilities that are already in place. So I want you to weigh in on the fact that whether at all this is some sort of a panic reaction.
For whatever we have suffered, Shawan, panic reaction is a good reaction. Sooner the better. And if you are on your feet quicker, then obviously the reaction time gets, you get more reaction time, you get more time to organize yourself, you get more infrastructure in place. And I think in that sense, the government perhaps, even if it's panicking, though it's not panicking, it's in control, it's sort of giving out the instructions, making sure that the instructions are followed up. It could have been done a week back as well. We need not be reacting to the Chinese. Chinese deserve their own whatever fate they get. But sooner the better. And I think it's whatever is happening now is absolutely in line with what is required medically, epidemiologically, administratively. And that's what's happening, thankfully.
Well, thank you very much, Abhishek. I'll still request you to stay on with us, because we're focusing on what's really happening right now. We're also going to be joined in by some experts on this broadcast, but let me also quickly get in a word from my colleague Alisha, who's joining us on this broadcast. Alisha, as far as Maharashtra is concerned, it's always a huge cause of concern, given the fact that, the population being the way it is, the density of the population, it has always been a big headache for the government also. As I understand, some of the samples in Maharashtra have already been sent for genome sequencing. What more are you picking up in terms of the steps that are already being taken by the government?
Well, yes, Shobhan, we know that this is something, a matter of concern, and Maharashtra government will definitely look into it, because the information that we are getting in the few samples have already been sent for genome sequencing. And here comes the steps, that the guideline that has to be taken up by the Maharashtra government as well. But if we read out some of the important points, because it's a China variant BF.7, which is in India now, and as ministry sources which clearly confirm that it's 3 cases have been found in India. So it is something the ministry is going to regulate over it, and moreover there are the more cases that is going to be come or not. It's something update that we are going to get it from the health ministry, because here's where we see that the health ministry is being constantly keeping a close eye over this new variant that has been come up in India, and we have 3 cases of BF.7 variant in India. But now what we know when it comes to Maharashtra, when yes, even earlier we saw that there were various steps and precautions that was taken by Maharashtra government when it comes to the COVID and even the Delta variant, or even if it's a Omicron. But now if it's some of the samples that has already been sent to genome sequencing is something the Maharashtra government will even discuss about it, whether the factor, the testing that has to be again going to be, rapidly has to be, they have to go door-to-door testing is something, the matter of discussion is what the government will also look into it.
Well, thank you very much, Alisha, for getting us the latest update from Maharashtra. We're also joined by the former president of the IMA, Dr. Jailal. I'll also try and bring in Abhishek in a short while from now to take a few more questions from Dr. Jailal. Dr. Jailal, if I can take that first question from you. I was asking this question from my colleague Abhishek, that whether at all this is some sort of a panic reaction or not. At the end of the day, we're talking about a variant which is highly transmissible. and it is creating havoc in China. We are already seeing few cases that have been reported here in India. I want you to weigh in about the current situation and how concerned should we be?
Yeah, definitely we are concerned about this, but there is no need to get panic. India is one country where we have all the things are set in force, like our infrastructure, manpower training, and the drugs, and everything is there. Only thing that we are lacking in the genome sequencing. Now the government of India has also now started doing the genome sequencing in appropriate way. We have already had 3 cases. That shows that there is a possibility of that cases has been infiltrated India. All these cases has some foreign connection also. So it is mandatorily required to have a control over the international borders or international airports where the checking in has to be enhanced. Otherwise, as usual, the routine protocol has to be maintained, especially we are entering into a festive season. There are a lot of festival, lot of traffic jam, a lot of people are traveling, and this needs to be little concerned. So the government has to strictly warn them. It should not go out of hand. Probably the government should definitely ensure that the masking has to be enforced. Even now, the airports and the aircrafts are not doing the mask. Mask, they are not putting that. So that should be ensured. India is fortunate that we had a hybrid immunity because more than 90% has already immunized. Though this virus is said to have escape phenomena with the virus, but yet too that has to be proved. So at this point, definitely India is concerned about this. There is no need to put a panic button, but only thing at this time we need to put on the international border security and also have the basic protocol of the COVID has to be updated in all mass gatherings wherever we are meeting.
Dr. Jailal, in terms of this particular variant, what is it that one needs to be wary about? Is there anything that we do know about this variant? And the question that would be on the top of everyone's mind is that with the booster doses in, are we really well prepared to tackle this particular variant?
No, as per the scientific data available, this variant can escape the immune phenomena. Even if you are taking the booster dose or if you are already had 2 vaccine times the virus, you are still liable to get infection. The transmissibility is very high. The possibility of mortality is also going to be increased. So we need to be extra cautious on that. So previously when the second wave come and those who are doctors who have already immunized, they will always take it in a very positive and face that in a very bold step. But now even the medical fraternity will be little cautious because there is a concerns are raised about the immune escape. So there is no guarantee that those who have taken even the booster dose will be immune to this disease. And we should always remember in the second wave and the first wave,
We seem to be having some problem with Dr. Jailal's audio as well as video link. We'll try and reconnect with him in a short while from now. But as Dr. Jailal was also pointing out that even though we have taken the booster dose, that may not really be enough. But we perhaps need to qualify that with some more details coming in from our experts. So we'll try and get in more details. But as we understand right now, the Health Ministry has issued a precautionary note. Let's go across to my colleague Alisha, who's getting us more details of this. As I understand, Alisha, we're getting in some more breaking news with regards to a note that has been advisory that has been issued by the Health Ministry. What are the details?
Well, yes, Shravan, it's a Health Ministry advisory which they have issued an advisory, and clearly we can see that there are some of the points that has been pointed out by the Health Ministry, and most of the important point, if you can read out, the operational guidance for revised surveillance strategy in context of COVID-19 issued by Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in June 2022 calls for an early detection, isolation, testing and timely management of suspected and confirmed cases to detect and contain outbreak of new severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2 variants. Therefore, monitoring the trend of extending variants is of crucial importance in the view of a sudden spurt of cases being witnessed in Japan, United States of America, Republic of Korea, Brazil and China. It is essential to gear up the whole genome sequencing of a positive case example to track the variant through Indian SARS-CoV-2 genome consortium network. Such an exercise will be enable timely detection of a newly variant in any circulating in the country and will facilitate undertaking of requested public health measure in the same. So it's an all contest, that is a advisory that has been issued by Government of India, Department of Health and Family Welfare, which is the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and also mentioned that in this contest all states are requested to ensure that as far as possible samples of positive cases on a daily basis are sent to the designated INSA COG genome sequences laboratory that are mapped to the state and union territories. Also, the fifth point, if I mention about the letter that has been, we have access, has clearly mentioned that Ministry of Health and Family Welfare commends the constant hard work put in all by states, union territories, and will continue to extend required support to all states in this regard. So this is a clear advisory that has been given by Health Ministry over the cases that has been continuously rising in the state, India, and specifically we know there is a case of BF.7 in India. There are 3 cases, and also there are samples even from the Maharashtra has been sent for genome sequencing. So now this is advisory that has been given to all the states and union territory. Right. If they found there are more of the cases that has been rising of COVID-19, so that sample has to be sent for the genome sequencing.
Well, in fact, some of the states have already responded to the advisory that was already issued by the Health Ministry. In fact, we're getting in the latest information from the state of Karnataka, where the Health Minister has essentially said that they would be monitoring all movements at the airport. In fact, the Health Minister in Karnataka exuding some confidence, saying that at least 100% of the population in our country have already received both the doses of the vaccination, but he's also urging the rest to take the booster dose. But the fact of the matter is that would that really be enough or not? That's something that the experts will have to weigh in. Let's listen to what Karnataka Health Minister Sudhakar had to say.
According to me, Indians are quite safe because of the effective and successful implementation of the vaccination. When 100% of our population is completely protected with the vaccines, with double doses, I appeal to all of them to take this booster dose at the earliest. We will be monitoring at the airports, and we will try to send all the positive infected cases to the INSACOG for knowing any new, through the genomic sequence, we wanted to know what kind of strains are being witnessed there.
Well, in fact, we'll be keeping a close watch on the steps that have been taken by the other states. Reactions now coming in from Maharashtra as well as in Karnataka. On the other side, news and updates continue.
Powered by ArcelorMittal, Nippon Steel India Limited. Smarter steels, brighter futures. Tata Capital. Palak jhapkao, loan pao.
Ladies and gentlemen, you expected the puzzle, but for a law person, this is not a game. Explain it to us, detective. Everyone is in danger.
All right, when's the murder mystery start?
ट्वेंटी के Q1, Q2 और Q3 में सुबु ने कंसिस्टेंटली अंडर परफॉर्म किया और 3 बार डिमोट होकर भी दिखाया, सीधा कैबिन से क्यूबिकल तक। पर सुबु तो उड़ रहा है, क्योंकि जियो मार्ट के ग्रैंड फिनाले सेल में शॉपिंग पर मिलेगा अप टू 80% ऑफ। तो साल जैसा भी गया हो, एंडिंग तो जबरदस्त होगी।
India welcomes those who further India's pride across the globe. Indian diaspora, partners of New India's growth journey in Amrit Kaal. Come and be a part of the 17th Pravasi Bharati Divas from 8th to 10th January 2023 at Indore, Madhya Pradesh, India. For registration, log on to pbdindia.gov.in.
Yeah, Ajay, look at your dad. Will we be the same at his age?
Absolutely yes, if we plan our future like him.
How?
My father had invested in LIC's Jeevan Akshay, which gives immediate and guaranteed annuity at regular intervals, that too for life.
Wow. But do we have to wait until his age?
Absolutely not. We recently invested in LIC's new Jeevan Shanti, which gives deferred annuity, which means regular income after some years.
I see.
LIC's annuity plans give 10 annuity options and flexibility in receiving regular income. LIC, हर पल आपके साथ.
With Beto's Diabetes Care Program, you get online doctor consultations, all your prescribed medicines and dietitian support on call. Get your complete diabetes management kit and expert advice with Beto's Diabetes Care Program. Give a missed call on 740-1100.
Everyone looks at the world today. At Hyundai, we go beyond with experiences that take us forward. Inspired by our today, we design your tomorrow. Some said electric is the future. We said, why stop there? At Hyundai, we are going beyond mobility, and you are welcome to join us.
Well, after Maharashtra and Karnataka, we are getting the latest updates from Uttar Pradesh, where the Uttar Pradesh government has issued a directive to look into the history of travellers. Authorities have been asked to check foreign passengers in Uttar Pradesh. Deputy Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Brajesh Pathak, spoke to the media a short while back. Listen.
को लेकर के जब दुनिया के दूसरे देशों में खासकर चाइना में इस प्रकार की शिकायतें मिली कि वहां कोविड को लेकर हाहाकार मचा हुआ है, तो उत्तर प्रदेश राज्य में सतर्कता बरते जाने के निर्देश हमने जारी किए हैं। विशेष रूप से हवाई अड्डे, रेलवे स्टेशन, बस स्टेशन और भीड़ भाड़ वाले इलाके जैसे सिनेमा हॉल्स हैं, स्कूल हैं, कॉलेज हैं, जहां पर बड़ी संख्या में लोग इकट्ठा होते हैं, वहां पर यदि कोई विदेशी यात्री आता है या विदेश से यात्रा करके भारतीय नागरिक या विदेश का कोई यात्री आता है तो उसकी अवश्य जांच करें, और यदि संदिग्ध मरीज कोई हो तो उसकी जांच करके ही उसको भीड़ में जाने दें और कोविड प्रोटोकॉल का पालन करें, सामाजिक दूरी बनाएं, मास्क।
Powered by ArcelorMittal, Nippon Steel India Limited. Smarter steels, brighter futures. Tata Capital. Palak Jhapkao, Loan Pao.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
Hey Rahul, what's up?
Hey, kicked about our first date?
Of course.
Benefits up to rupees 30,000 only at the Citroën C3 Carnival. Book today.
Reimagineering brighter futures with smarter steels. ArcelorMittal, Nippon Steel India. Smarter steels, brighter futures.
Volkswagen Tygoon, India's safest SUVW. Volkswagen.
Magnificent picture, magnificent sound, magnificent experience, magnifique.
high-performance TVs by Aiwa Japan, now in India.
भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था में $1 ट्रिलियन का योगदान और देश की अर्थव्यवस्था में ग्रोथ इंजन के रूप में अपनी भूमिका का निर्वहन करने के हेतु प्रदेश सरकार यूपी ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टर्स समिट 2023 का आयोजन कर रही है। आर्थिक विकास में तेज रफ्तार से आगे बढ़ रहे उत्तर प्रदेश में इस समिट के माध्यम से योगी सरकार ने 10 लाख करोड़ रुपए के निवेश का लक्ष्य रखा है।
With B2's Diabetes Care Program, you get online doctor consultations, all your prescribed medicines and dietitian support on call. Get your complete diabetes management kit and expert advice with B2's Diabetes Care Program. Give a missed call on 740-1100.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
Good evening, you're watching Live and Breaking at 6:30. I'm Suesha Sawant. We are getting you all the details as India is on alert mode with COVID. Government is reviewing preparedness. That's our focus in this edition. Let's begin with the headlines. India on COVID alert mode, set to issue fresh guidelines for travellers from China, begins random testing and sampling at international airports. Amid surge in COVID cases in multiple countries, government holds review meet, ramps up preparations to tackle COVID.
पाकिस्तान में भारत जोड़ो यात्रा में गए हुए कई लोगों को कोविड पॉजिटिव पाया गया है।
Union Health Minister hits back at Congress outraging over COVID norms, warning says my duty as Health Minister is to warn. Home Minister Amit Shah's stern warning on forced conversions in Parliament says strict action will be taken.
बीच बीच में महात्मा गांधी जी याद आता है, ये नकली कांग्रेस, नकली गांधी और नकली कांग्रेस को, ये तो अच्छी बात है, दैट्स ए गुड थिंग.
As Sonia Gandhi raises concerns on China incursion, government hits back. Union Minister says Congress should read history first.
कांग्रेस के लोग ही जुडिशरी को अटैक करते हैं और कपिल सिब्बल साहब ने कहा कि इनको सुप्रीम कोर्ट में कोई विश्वास नहीं रह गया है.
Union Law Minister hits back at Sonia Gandhi's allegations on judiciary, says there is no conflict between government and judiciary and Congress is politicizing the issue. And this is the latest coming in as the government is reviewing preparedness on COVID, keeping a very close eye on the BF.7 variant in particular. Source space information coming in on how there is a need for continued surveillance, and the government is keeping track of existing emerging variants. The BF.7 variant in particular is a matter of concern. Is the variant responsible for the surge in cases in China? Is highly transmissible? 3 cases of this variant, that is of the Omicron lineage, have been detected in India last week. Let's listen in to what the Niti Aayog has to say on this. Listen in.
Ministerial level review will be undertaken. No panic, abundant precaution. अगर हम उस तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं तो abundant precaution के क्या मुद्दे हैं? पहली बात है कि खांसी जुकाम इस मौसम में होता है, हम विंटर में हैं, हम ठंड के मौसम में हैं। तो पहली अपील ये है कि खांसी जुकाम हो रहा है तो आज की सिचुएशन को देखते हुए अपील करना चाहेंगे कि उसमें आप टेस्टिंग करवा लीजिए। हो सकता है और 90% चांस है कि शायद ये नॉन कोविड होगा, लेकिन अगर हमने अर्ली डिटेक्शन करनी है तो तभी करेंगे, कोई टेस्ट करवाएंगे। तो एक अपील भी है और सिस्टम भी इसको प्रोत्साहित करेगा कि टेस्टिंग हो, टेस्टिंग बढ़ेगी तो हमारा फुटप्रिंट ज़्यादा होता है, प्रॉब्लम जो है वो डिटेक्ट होगी, उस वायरस का आइसोलेशन होगा, उस वायरस का जीनोम होगा, तो हमें पूरी ताकत मिलेगी और हमें समझ रहे कि हम किस तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं। दूसरी अबंडेंट प्रिकॉशन क्या है कि हमें प्रिकॉशन डोज हमारी ड्यू है। लगभग देश में 18 के ऊपर प्रिकॉशन डोज सबको लगनी चाहिए, लेकिन लगी है सिर्फ 27-28% को। देश में 18 के ऊपर प्रिकॉशन डोज सबको लगनी चाहिए, लेकिन लगी है सिर्फ 27-28%। तो हम अपील करेंगे कि प्रिकॉशन डोज जिसको नहीं लगी है वो ले लीजिए। ये भारत की पेंडेमिक रिस्पांस का एक पिलर है, पॉलिसी है, वैक्सीन अवेलेबल हैं, तो उसको तरफ जाइए। और पर्टिकुलरली जो हमारे सिटीजन्स, सीनियर सिटीजन्स हैं, वो कोई छूट गए हैं प्रिकॉशन डोज से, तो हमेशा की तरह जैसे हम पहले भी अपील करते थे कि उनका हमें ज़्यादा ख्याल करना है। सीनियर सिटीजन्स क्योंकि वल्नरेबल हैं और बीमारी वाले व्यक्ति वल्नरेबल ज़्यादा होते हैं, तो ये खासकर उनके लिए अपील है कि अगर आपको प्रिकॉशन डोज नहीं लगी तो लीजिए, लेकिन सभी को प्रिकॉशन डोज जो है वो मैंडेटेड है, गाइडेड है और उसको आप लीजिए। अगला पॉइंट ये आता है कि हमें इसके अलावा भी जनरल प्रिकॉशंस लेनी है जो।
And joining us on the broadcast is Dr. Ankita Baidia, Senior Consultant Infectious Diseases. She's joining us live from Delhi. Very good evening, Doctor. I want to talk to you about the BF.7 variant because that particularly is a concern at this point, given the 3 cases that have been detected in India in the past week. That is also the variant that is responsible for the spike in cases in China and how it has worsened to this level. You think India should now take a call on banning all flights from China altogether?
So yes, since it's now again it is a variant of concern. We are seeing surge of cases in China, in US, in Japan, in Korea. So we need to tighten our guards now. Again, last few months we had seen that the things has gone back to normal. But yes, the COVID is not letting us forget it. We need to understand it's a new variant. It is escaping the immunity. It is easily transmissible even to those who already had COVID. So just thinking you had past history of COVID and not getting yourself vaccinated is challenge to our country. Go for precautionary dose. Just like as the Ministry of Health is recommending, go for your precautionary dose, the booster dose that was announced early this year from January itself, 2022, January 2022, the precautionary dose was announced and it was recommended to be taken especially for people who are at high risk, people who are frontline, and now to everybody. So please go and take your precautionary dose. This variant, I'll say BF.7, again has certain mutation in it which actually evade the immunity. So what we understand by this, that it is easily transmissible, it is very highly infectious. If it is evading your existing immunity, that means if somebody had recovered from COVID infection, he or she might not is again susceptible to this variant. So looking at both these parameters, and if we see the vaccination rate right now with the booster in our country, I am actually scared. So we need to prepare in all aspects regarding COVID infection, that this time we don't see what we had seen in the second wave. As other countries, we are also facing, developed country like Japan and US, they are struggling to curtail the COVID. And another question that restricting the flight from China, the government has to take a call, but at least we can start screening at airport properly and strictly. People have to look in all aspects. If somebody is traveling from, even if we are not restricting at this point, if somebody is traveling from these affected countries, they have to be screened for if they are having any symptoms. Also in India, we need to screen this variant. So genetic testing to know where we stand is very important for this virus. So if we just, as last week only you have highlighted, we had 3 cases. So if this has reached India, it can spread in our country. Though we have different level of immunity in Indian setting, we had seen different phases. It's not always similar what we see in the West, in US, but yes, if we see what is going throughout the world and we are better prepared, there are chances that this COVID will cause less damage. But if we are not prepared, then I am scared. Actually, I am scared looking at the vaccination rate. The precautionary dose, it's so less. People have taken it lightly. They have forgotten about COVID. I see in the markets, people are roaming here and there without masks. Social gatherings are happening.
Yes.
We know we need to go back to normal, but we need to understand if something alarming is there happening throughout the world, it is better to take precautions rather than be sorry later on. And when the situation goes out of control, when we
absolutely agree with you,
when we land up in a situation when we don't have
prevailing amongst the people, and you're very right on that, Dr. Vaidya. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you here. Please stay on with us because several other aspects that I want to talk to you about, but more reactions that are coming in this time from the Karnataka Health Minister. We'll try and play out that response, but he is certainly urging people to take the booster dose, like you mentioned. Karnataka Health Minister saying that they are monitoring the situation at the airport very, very closely, and all positive cases will be tested for the strains that they have had. Let's listen in.
According to me, Indians are quite safe because of the effective and successful implementation of the vaccination. When 100% of our population is completely protected with the vaccines, with double doses, I appeal to all of them to take this booster dose at the earliest. We will be monitoring at the airports and we will try to send all the positive infected cases to the INSACOG for knowing any new, through the genomic sequence, we wanted to know what kind of strains are being witnessed there.
Dr. Vaidya, I want to come back to you because while international passengers are being very closely monitored, you were talking about the vaccination rate. And I believe that still is a higher percentage in comparison to the booster doses which have not been taken in that number. Would you recommend that that must be taken very seriously at this point? Also, there should be a big